Okay, so let's go through these solutions. Now, if you know them, okay, then feel free to tell me. We'll talk about also how can you do this with a quick method. So, for instance, book was $7, reduced by 20%. What's your method? You've not got a calculator, so
I would find 1%.
Okay.
7, so it's 0.7.
Right.
I mean 10%, 0.7, and then you times it by 2.
Okay, so 10% equals 70 cents, I guess. Let me change the width. 10% is 70 cents, yeah? Is that right? Therefore, 20% equals 140 cents or $1.40. So it's find the easy way, right? Okay. Go on.
Not the new price of the book.
No, sorry, it's not actually, yeah. That's the kind of mistake people make, isn't it? I've just done it. Why have I done it?
Then you need to minus from the side.
Yeah, but why have I... you know, I know that I should do that, but I didn't because... don't read properly, and I don't read twice. I should always, when I think I've got a solution, reread the question to check that I've actually answered the question, because I go, oh, I found 20%, but it's reduced by 20%, so I need to do 7 minus 140, don't I? So that makes 560. Okay, so good example of where rushing through something because you think it's easy can cost you marks. Standard form, this one, part B, caused people problems, and actually people got this one wrong. Standard form has to be follow a rule which is A times 10 to the power of K, where A is what? Well, or equal to 1 less than 10. Okay, so we take the numbers and we write 6.3 and it's times 10 to the power of minus 3. Not 3 like someone put. Okay, part B. It gives us a nice clue here. 10 to the power of 9. We can't add these together because we've got different powers. So we've got 5.7 times 10 to the power of 9 is fine. But 2.4 times 10 to the power of 8 needs to be what times 10 to the power of 9? So 0.24 is what we do. Alright? Everyone understand why it's 0.24 times 10 to the power of 9 now? Add them together, right? It's just going to be times 10 to the power of 9 and it becomes 5.94. Again, find the value of K. The value of K is 5.94. Lose a mark if you wrote the whole thing. Okay? Because K is not 5.94 times 10 to the 9. Because otherwise you'd be saying it was 5.94 times 10 to the 9 times 10 to the 9. Which is not true. Okay? So just be careful again reading the question. Easy questions at the beginning of a test, but with a little catch. Terms of sequence. What is it? Add 2, add 3, add 4, add 5, add 6, 23. Minus 9, minus 11, minus 15, minus 17 makes this one times 3, times 3. You just have to be able to do times 3. Which is difficult for some people, apparently.
972.
Okay. 3 times 300, 900. 3 times 20, 60. 3 times 4, 12, if you want to check. Some people got it wrong. Shouldn't get that wrong. 3 times something, you lose that mark. You know, you don't know when that's going to come back and on you. Now, this one, guys, lots of people made mistakes here, and it's quite an important mistake not to make. Find an expression for the shaded area. So we know that this area is 2y squared. The shaded one is 6x squared. Not what? 2y squared or 6x squared. They are different. Alright, find an expression. So it's 6x squared minus 2y squared, which if I were to multiply out is 36x squared minus 4y squared. Okay, so you have to square both. Alright, quite a few people messed up on that. Alright, so I'll just write it in here. Rearrange, yeah, go on.
If in the actual exam we don't write our answer next on the lines, do we lose the mark?
No. You should aim not to do that.
Yeah.
But what I would say is make sure the answer you want marked is clear. Because if there's two possible answers that you have kind of left one and left another, then you won't be credited with the mark, because they won't give you credit as, or they definitely know what they've done. So if you've got two different things that are different, but one of them is completely wrong, but you underline the one you want, fine, I know, okay? Or the examiner knows. Rearrange your part A. Now, a lot of people made mistakes here as well. So I'm just going to rewrite A equals 36x squared minus 4y squared. Lots of misconceptions with square roots in this one. And one person I know write x in terms of y and a, which means x equals something. Okay, so step by step, right? A plus 4y squared equals 36x squared. Happy with that?
Yeah.
Come on, computer. Okay. Next phase. Divide by 36. A plus 4y squared over 36 equals x squared. Okay. Then square root it. Now, it's everything. Now, I don't know whether people meant to only put the square root over a bit, but they meant to do the whole thing or what. But you've got to make it very clear that that square root covers the whole thing. Okay? Now, obviously, that'll do, by the way. That's fine. If you want to go further, up to you. Now, yes, I could, using my rules, my knowledge of surds, go, it's the square root of a plus 4y squared over, what? 6. Fine. I could even go a little bit further and say, well, what? Is it? I think I may have even marked this right and I shouldn't have done. Is it the square root of a plus 2y, like that? Or is it square root of a plus 2y? Is it either of them?
No.
It's neither of them, is it? I think I actually incorrectly marked one of these right. So you're lucky if I gave you that mark. Actually, you know the rules of surds. I can't do that. I could if it was multiply, but I can't if it's add. Alright? So that's about as far as I can go. Equals x. We can't simplify like that. Yes, Anna?
Do we get error carried through marks for things like this? Like
Yeah, so for instance, if your part, it says rearrange your answer to part A.
Okay.
So if your A is wrong, but you rearrange that correctly, then you should get marks here.
But
But maybe you didn't rearrange correctly. I'll have a look, but maybe you didn't even rearrange that one correctly. I will have a look. Okay, again, problems with part B on this one. But 125 to the power of 0, we all know that's 1. That was easy. Right, again, surds. It is a multiply, so we can break this up into the cube root of 27 times the cube root of y to the power of 27. Now, the cube root of 27 is 3. That's fine. How do I deal with this? Well, I have to turn the cube root into a power, which is a third. and then you multiply 27 and a third. So a third of 27 is 9. Some people did the cube root of 27 to get y to the power of 3, which it's not. Okay. Again, I think you all know this. You all have this knowledge. It's just about getting exam technique and realising that's the kind of thing they're looking for. All right. Yeah, some issues with this one as well. Multiplying out. This is the first problem a lot of people had. What's 3 root 2 times 2 root 2? 12. Because it's 3 root 2 times 2 and another root 2, all timeses. Root 2 times root 2 is 2. So it's 2 times 3 times 2 makes 12. Okay. Then we've got minus 4 root 2 plus 3 root 2. Okay. Minus 2. Okay. So we've then got 12 minus root 2 minus 2. And some people left it at that, but really, guys, you can't get away with that because 12 minus 2 is 10. So the answer is 10 minus root 2. Okay? Any questions on that one? No? So it's rules of surds for that one if that's something you need to revise. Again, this one, 10 root 5. To rationalise the denominator, again, multiply by 1, but make sure the bottom is. So again, we've got 10 root 5 over what? 5. And then the final step, 10, 5 makes 2. So the answer is 2 root 5. Okay. I think I did give a mark for 10 root 5 over 5. Okay. Because all they've asked you to do is rationalise the denominator. They haven't said simplify. But be careful with that one. Okay.
Rationalize means make it an integer?
Yeah, so the square root of a prime number is an irrational number. So the square root of 2, the square root of 3, the square root of 5, and so on. It's an irrational number. So the denominator is currently irrational.
Yeah.
So to rationalise it means turn it into a number that doesn't have a square root.
Okay.
Okay, now this one, lots of people struggled, and I was a bit picky because, well, certain things have to be spotted, and I would put certain definite marks in. Now, we have done this, haven't we, transformations of functions. Maybe we need to do it again, but just to make clear what I was looking for. If it's 2 times f of x, that means which value is multiplied by 2? Which coordinate? The x or the y coordinate? The y coordinate. So it's outside the function. So every y coordinate must be multiplied by 2. Therefore, this point stays where it is. This point should be double. Alright, so we should mark that. This point, sort of a bit off. This point, pretty much dead on anyway. Alright, now that's kind of what I was looking for. So those people that have roughly the shape, but it's quite clearly that point is not double, it's more than double or less than double, or, you know, that's where I've marked down. So we should be showing that we have a knowledge that things are doubled. So we have this shape, which a lot of you, well, quite a few had this shape, but I wasn't convinced about the doubling, you know. So a bit picky, but that's what happens. There is only one mark for it, so it's kind of, there's no leeway, really. This one, when it's f of x plus 1, it means what? A shift to the left, how far? 1. So what I was looking for, again, identify the points and show that you know they've shifted left 1. And it's very easy to do, look. Alright? Same height, and that's the thing, right? We are showing that. So then the curve does something like this. Alright, but again, some of you might have roughly the right shape, but unless it's actually every point is quite clearly across one, however you want to do that, if you want to show by the fact there's dotted lines or whatever you want to do, but for only one mark you've got to get it that it is x plus 1 and not x plus something. If there were 2 marks, they might give 1 mark for showing a move in the left-hand direction and then 1 mark for getting it spot on. But with only 1 mark, you have to be correct. Those people got this all right? So cosine is, cos of theta is adjacent over hypotenuse. Some people miss that word exact. That means we're going to have to give it in a surd form, fraction surd form. We are missing the adjacent. We've got to work out the adjacent value. How do you do it?
3 squared minus 1.
Yeah, so 3 squared minus 1 squared, square rooted. So this is the square root of 8. So adjacent over hypotenuse will be square root of 8 over 3. Okay, that is the exact value. That can be simplified though to 2 root 2 over 3. Right. Come on, computer. So I want you, go on, say that again.
Will you ask us for like exact values as in like cosine of 90 degrees, which will be like this?
Maybe.
Because that's what
That's a different side of it, isn't it? It's
What would they put exact value or like?
yeah. So if they said to you, find the exact value for cos of 90.
No, I mean like in this sense, because I thought that it meant like the exact value and tried to think that it's more like cosine of like 30. Is that because? Or
No. They've kind of same idea but in a different direction, which we're not actually worrying about what the angle is, because this is not going to be one of those nice angles, is it? We know 30, 60, 45 and so on, but this one's not going to be one of those. But it doesn't mean I can't give an exact value for the angle, whatever the angle is. Now, if I asked you to find out what the angle was, what would you do?
The inverse cosine.
Yeah, exactly. The inverse cosine. If you do that now, what is theta? What is the angle for this situation, guys? So if I do the inverse cos of root 8 over 3, the angle would be
19.
pardon? 19 exactly.
No, 19.
Exactly. So it's one of those. We're not going to know what the angle is exactly, are we? We can't give it exactly. So, and you've got to realise the difference between the exact value of cos of x is different from the value of x. So it's about, again, reading the question. Right? Exam technique, exam practice. That's where it comes from. Okay? Okay, definitely some issues here as well. GF of 1. Simplest way. Just put 1 into x plus 3. So f of 1 equals 1 plus 3, which equals 4. Then you do g of 4. So that is 12 divided by 4, which is 3. That's your answer. The easiest way to do it. It didn't ask for gf of x. So some of you have tried to work out gf of x, and there's no need. Right? Okay. The inverse function of x. It's one of those nice ones. It's nice in the fact that half of you probably did it and thought that can't be right. Because if we rearrange y equals 12 over x, we end up with x equals 12 over y, and the inverse is therefore 12 over x. And it is called a self-inverse function. And you can check it. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. It's one of those self-inverse. Yeah, I haven't got a clue what that says. It's a what? Is it? I didn't know. Make sure it's clear. The examiner won't give you that. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's probably a stupid question, but I don't understand why they get swapped twice. Like why?
Because I rearrange it. Okay, so let me go through the whole steps. So I want to rearrange it to make x the subject. So I've multiplied by x both sides and then divided by y. So my intermediate step was x, y equals 12. And then I divide by y to give me that. Okay. Right. Alright, now we're allowed a calculator if we need it. Right, the inequality shown by the number, most people got this one. X, have to have a look for that. X must be greater than 2, less than or equal to 7. So one person put it on the top, I don't know where that comes from, but I didn't mark it. Okay. Solve the inequality where the f of x is greater than 0. F of x also known as y. So where is y greater than 0? That's from this point up, down, stops there, and again there and there. So we've actually got 2. Now at that point there, f of x is equal to 0. So we can't have that point. But we've got 2. So we've got when x is less than 0, greater than minus 2, and when x is less than 4, greater than 1. So we've got 2 of them. Alright.
You can just put 2.
Well, you have to put those two things. Yeah. So when the word inequality is used, you know you're giving a range of answers. That's the whole point.
I think this is solve, you got to find x.
Well, you are.
But
The word inequality means there's not one value of x. Equals to one value. Okay? F of x is greater than 0 means there's going to be more than one value. It says inequality be more than one value. You have to say every value. Alright? Okay. This was an interesting one actually. There are how many marks for this? 3 marks for solving this. Got a calculator. What do?
You see the formula here?
You can.
Use the program.
What program? What's that? Oh, what's it called again? I'm just checking that you're doing the right.
Formula was there.
What?
Yeah,
Oh no, I've not seen that one.
use
That's
the
what you've
formula.
used before. There's a couple of them. There's the one which is what's it? Simult 2 program on your calculator that we've used, where you put the values in and it solves it for you. Actually, the easiest way I was thinking, just draw the function and the graph will look like this, yeah? And you just find those 2 points using calculate and zeros. Yeah.
Isn't there a mark for doing the equation, or is there a mark for graphing too?
But there's 3 marks for 2 solutions and
Working out. Also, the working out was mentioned as
it says here, solve the equation.
because in one of the past papers there was a 3-mark question, and one of the marks was for writing the equation. So
Yeah. But, I mean, you've got a calculator. If you write the equation and put the right numbers in that, well, that's one method. You can do that. If you're happier using the equation, fine, do it. But also, a few of you did not write your answer to 2 decimal places. That's just silly. Alright? That's a lack of reading questions. And it's not a silly mistake, it's a lack of exam technique, but it is silly, if you know what I mean. So you need to make sure you read questions properly.
Wait, so Mr. Potts, how would that be done on the calculator then?
Okay, so on your calculator, put that into your graph. So y equals x squared plus 4x plus 2. Okay? Put that in. Alright? If you then graph it, you'll get the shape, yeah?
But it doesn't give an exact value.
It does.
No, but when
If you then press second function and, what was it, trace, which gives you the calc option, right? One of the options in the menu that comes up is zeros, okay? So if you press that, it then does the whole left bound, right bound thing. So what you have to do is move your cursor that appears on your line to the left hand side, press enter, and you'll get a little arrow appear. And then it will say right bound, so you move it back up the line. So you press left and right, I think. And then you press enter and you get a little arrow. And then it will look for the solutions between those two arrows. So it will find it there. It will give you the solution. Alright? Well, say left bound, right bound, guess. Press enter. Make sure that you can do that. Are you doing it? Done it? Check you do it. Then you have to do it again for the second one. Alright? Can you maybe check that you can actually all do that now? Because it's quite an important thing to be able to do.
Can you just repeat that?
What's second? It's like
The
second.
blue button. Right. So, we've got our two solutions. Make sure they are to 2 decimal places. Okay. So we've got 3 minutes. That's enough time. This one looks hard, is easy. Read the question. It says DCE is a straight line. DC is equal to CE. These are halfway points. Makes it nice and easy for you. Find B to D. So B to D, so we go minus P plus Q. Minus P plus Q. Or Q minus P. Okay? B to D. That's the way. A to E. Okay? Well, A to E is just Q plus 2 P's. Because we know they're the same. Okay? Q plus 2 P's. And then in the diagram, points are 3, 3, 6, 3, 6, 5. Well, I think most people got that as 9, 5, didn't you? Easy. Yeah. Right? Now, the equation of the straight line through A and E. Now, basically, we know the coordinates are, what do we say, 3, 3 and 9, 5. Come on, guys. Right? Got a straight line through 3, 3, 9, 5. So it's gradient. We've got y equals mx plus c. The gradient is rise of
1.
what is it? 6.
6 over 2.
Right. So rise over run. Why have I? Oh, I might have to recheck.
2 over 6.
Yeah. It's the other way, isn't it? It's 2 over 6, I remember. So it's 2 over 6, which makes 1 over 3. So we've then got y equals 1 over 3x plus c. It's 3, 3 or 9, 5, whatever you like. So 3 equals a third times 3 plus c. Third times 3 is 1. So 3 equals 1 plus 2. So we've got y equals a third x plus 2. But, read the question, times it by 3 gives me 3y equals x plus 6. Those people that forgot to do that. Rearrange it gives me 3y minus x equals 6. And that's in the right way. Lots of people forgot to multiply the 2 by 3. Right? Must multiply everything. These two, we're going to, there were troubles there, but we'll have to do that maybe next time.
That's why.
Here when it gets